Is Webtoon the next Slophouse? Well, I think we can all see the writing on the wall. Webtoon dropped this bizarre teaser trailer with a very cryptic caption that reads, "Doom Scrollers, rise up. Experience 6 of your favorite comics in a brand new format. Swole Mates, Rules for Dating Trash, Maybe Meant to Be, Dirty Deeds, Love Bites, and I'll Marry Your Brother." Along with a very perplexing reel, which my first impression was some low-budget Tubi YA book talk slop. However, this vertical content is watchable on Webtoon right now. So, I watched all of them, the free episodes, that is, and I'll be giving my review on each one here. Just a reminder, this is all my opinion, this is all for entertainment purposes, and I will be saving my controversial opinions till after the review. I get things wrong sometimes, so if you don't like it, well, find another video to watch while you eat your lunch. Sorry. To be upfront, I haven't read the original comics for any of these titles other than a few chapters of Maybe Meant to Be, so that's where I will be starting out. And wow, as someone who is not used to this kind of content, there was no wine and dining. To get to linger, to get to know the characters or the story first, the pacing was at a breakneck speed. I know the comedy of the first chapter was a punchline of her getting married immediately, but this episode was over so quick. It was too much for my old brain to handle. I thought I was just watching a preview or an ad for the series and the real episode would play next. But nope, this 1 minute and 53-second video is the whole episode. I timed myself. It's faster to watch this than what it took me to actually read the comic chapter. That took me 5 minutes and 9 seconds to read from start to finish. In the short, you miss so much context of the character's backstory. You miss the breathing panels that create a sense of pause in the narrative to let the viewer digest the information. You don't really get a full sense of their previous relationship. It just steamrollers through it all. I know not everything can be included shot for shot. I was never expecting that, but there is seriously so much missing that it cheapens the punchline of that first chapter and it reduces the conceptual approach of the story, having this as their introduction to the story and character dynamic, to just a gimmick rather than a narrative choice. Let me show you a quick beat sheet comparison breaking down bullets of the main events covered in the first chapter versus the first vertical reel adaptation episode. To save time, I'm just going to be doing this for Maybe Meant to Be to give you some perspective, but I won't do this for each one. The rest of the other series, I will be going in blind for my review without reading the comic chapter comparisons. So to emulate the purest first impression of the series by the shorts alone. Maybe Meant to Be, first Webtoon chapter starts with families return home for the Lunar New Year holidays. Protagonist Jia Han, 32 years old, single and jobless, doing all the work in the house. Jia is annoyed by the fact her parents keep pressuring her to get married and have kids. Her sister, niece, and nephew arrive with her brother-in-law. Her sister jokes that now all she has to do is walk down the aisle. She threatens her to put on her cooking apron, but is stopped when her father scolds her for acting out. Her sister is revealed to be expecting another child, her parents praise her, and Jia is left out feeling miserable. Jia sits outside of her apartment complex, smoking, frustrated that her sister suggested setting her up with a middle-aged man. This is where she meets her previous schoolmate and neighbor Minchul Jin, who is also trying to escape his family on Lunar New Year's because the food has too many calories, so he's eating chicken breast in the smoking area, which she finds weird. She remembers him as her childhood friend. He was shy and reserved, but at least he knew how to read the room and he kept to himself. She notes that he is also 32 and is assistant manager programmer and decent looking. He reveals his parents are also pressuring him to get married, and they are signing him up for a matchmaking service that he says is expensive and would rather spend that money on video games. She asked if they should get married, but then she gets embarrassed. He gets her father's blessing, they get married, and they are on their honeymoon when she finally realizes what is happening. End of chapter 1. Now, for the vertical short adaptation, starts the same way of her parents watching videos of the grandchildren. Jia is annoyed by this. Her mother says, "You'll understand when you have children." She is upset. She is the only one working in the house on Thanksgiving, and her parents pressure her about being unmarried at age 32. And what do you expect when you're living at home at your age? Cancun, which was a weird line, but anyways, her sister-in-law arrives and disses Jia's apron, saying she could walk down the aisle in it, which gets everyone to laugh. Jia threatens her sister to put on the cooking apron, cuts to Jia sitting outside saying, fuck my life when Percy arrives, which is Mingchul, who she remembers as the scrawny gamer kid. He says he's a software programmer now, and his parents are pressuring him to meet someone, signing him up for a matchmaking service. Gia says, we're both screwed, right? Why don't we marry each other? She says it's a joke, but he agrees. Then cuts to them getting married, and her sister asks where they're going for their honeymoon. She says Cancun, end of short. First off, they whiteify the names. So like, who are these people?
Who are you?
From reading the comic, it's distinctly Korean in culture. The pressures of marriage and having a good position at work and good financial background, as well as matchmaking services, make complete sense from an East Asian lens. But here in the West, that's not something you necessarily see all that much. Having parents sign their adult kid up for matchmaking services is not really common here. They also changed the Lunar New Year's holiday gathering to Thanksgiving, which also feels a lot more distinctly Americanized. I know Thanksgiving is not just in America, we have it in Canada too, but it does exclude other English-speaking countries that don't celebrate it. I would have thought just changing it to New Year's would be an easy middle ground. And to be fair, Percy is still eating chicken breast outside, but it's not a smoking corner anymore. It's a swing set because this is rated 16+, and smoking is too edgy. But bleeping out a clear F-bomb is just enough to feign edginess on a swing set. And oh my god, I did not know that there were comments on these shorts, and some of them are so damn funny. But I am genuinely confused. What are these vertical shorts even for? Are they for people who don't want to read? Who can't read? It was alarming to watch the short, then read the entire chapter after and compare the two side by side. If a stranger to the series came in, watched 12 of these episodes, then picked up the comic where the episodes ended, I think they would be missing out on so much of the story, as well as the nuances to the characters' decisions, because the shorts versions of the characters feel super unhinged for no reason, where the actions of the characters make sense given their backstory explanations in the comic. The characters in these vertical reels just feel a bit psychotic, okay? I can't lie, the production does look decent, better than I expected, and the acting wasn't all that terrible. Most of it was, though, but it felt a bit forced at times with trying to recreate that apron joke, but without really introducing the prior context of her reason to snap like that. But the actress who played Gia was actually kind of spot on, but Percy, absolutely not. Sorry, but I don't like him at all. It does kind of feel a bit AI. Just the vibe, it's hard to describe. Maybe the quick edits at where the AI render ends, or something that makes it feel uncanny. It's like, what is those stupid AI Fruit Island things? Like, I don't know. It feels AI. Again, the pacing is way too quick for me. I barely have enough time to register what the fuck is going on. When we finally got a scene that slowed down a bit, it was the part where Percy is taking off his shirt to show his abs, and I actually laughed really hard. Like, it was so awkward. He's lean, but putting this poor guy up to his webcomic counterpart was a losing battle, that's for sure. Listen, I'm not trying to be judgmental. I just don't like this actor from Minchul. He looks like Tom Howard. I'm sorry, I cannot get over the pacing. They're flying through these things and it's killing me. The sound effects and the TikTok editing and the whiplash cuts do miracles for pulling together any semblance of a plot line, but how quick these shorts go by. But it's giving me vertigo and I feel dizzy watching these. I did kind of like the part during the marriage contract where they were amping up the tension around it and then it just deflates when he said, let's talk about your smoking. That was a decently well-timed comedic bit. But oh my god, there is a scene of Percy walking into his office and they have a split screen effect and they have a wide shot and then they have a close-up shot on the bottom half. And instead of using a closer camera, they just blew up the scale of the wide shot footage. And the footage is super fuzzed out.
Us to have 16 times the detail.
Conspiracy alert, this certainly has to be a V-flat left in this shot. I swear to God. Okay, it has to be a V flat. The more I watch this, the more I realize this is not for my age demographic. I feel like I'm watching something I shouldn't be watching. And it's weird because these are adult characters. Aren't I supposed to find them relatable? And the goofy moments between his female coworker and his friend are so jarring. It feels so Disney show coded, like something out of Sweet Life on Deck or Sunny with a Chance. Also, there's a scene where he half jumps over a counter to grab his glasses bag, and there is this really goofy split-second clip of him landing, and it was like kind of unintentionally funny, and everything feels way less impactful in this adaptation than it did in the comic. For a scene that was supposed to probably show his agility and strength or whatever, instead came off as feeling kind of dumb. And if someone did that to me in real life, I would actually scream and smack them with the closest object I had next to me. The actors talking out loud for their internal thoughts also felt really dumb. It's just another example of why this is so unfit for this style of medium. And man, by episode 10, this shit is already wearing me down, okay? These two feel like aliens. Real humans don't act like this. It's alien. It's almost like they're acting like teenagers or children. It's just not okay. Also, if this editing isn't already supersonic enough for you, you can watch these videos on 2 times the speed. What the fuck? Okay, after being announced in episode 10, in episode 11, it skips instantly to this housewarming party, and then his female coworker just says, "Kiss him right now!" And I'm thinking, kill me right now. Why am I watching this? Also, the constant sound effects remind me of Hell's Kitchen Danger violin soundbite, like you know the one. These people are skinwalkers. I don't know who to even cheer for in this show. I don't like any of them. I'm scared out of my mind right now. Like, these people aren't human.
But I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real.
So now I see what's up. After episode 12, out of 49 episodes, they pushed the coin purchase page to buy access to the next episodes. And I'm begging you, do not buy this crap. It's not worth it. Even to laugh at, just laugh at the first 12 fucking episodes. Do not buy it. And you know, initially, I wasn't going to make a video. I saw the trailer for these, then I got super heated and I wrote a brutally scathing script for a video, and then I backed out because I don't want to be an ass or shit on something for no good reason or talk about something that I had no knowledge of. I also saw an article talking about the 6 different production companies Webtoon partnered with to create these: Ideli Projects, A to Z Productions, Knockout Shorts, Vertical Romance, Narvel Films, and producer Aprav Aurora. Webtoon also claims that the entire first slate was created by human writers, actors, directors, and production crews without generative AI. And if that's true, I can't deny that it's beneficial that it employed creatives despite the quality of the end product, even if I personally don't enjoy it. It was filmed in Los Angeles using local production crews, and yeah, that's actually better than using AI. Apparently, according to this article, Webtoon consulted with original creators while determining characters' story arcs and story elements to translate into the shorts, with all 6 creators in support of this content being made to supplement the original comic rather than replace them. Now, I can tell you right now, as someone who is watching all of these shorts, the only reason it would make me go to read the original would be to compare and scrutinize the short rather than being interested in the actual story. These comics never appealed to me before, but these shorts did very little for me to want to read them now. Not because the comics are bad, just because they don't interest my personal taste in comics. Now, on to the next 5 reviews, and to save time, I will be giving a short summary of the key highlights and my opinions that I thought were funny. The next series we have is Soulmates. I know they said they didn't use AI. This gotta be AI. It's so clearly the AI piss filter with the AI style poster graphics around him. Like, look at the hands of this one girl. Like, I'm not crazy. Doesn't it look like it? I hate this guy already. He corrected some chick who said, "I heard he has 100 million followers," and he had the audacity to say, actually, 109 million, bro. Get a life. I wouldn't be going gaga over a guy with the goddamn copy pasta broccoli haircut. But my dude John Meadows though, rest in peace, my man. I'm gonna get canceled if I say this, but I'm gonna say it. No hate for the actor, he's fit, but he ain't swole. Get a dude who is on roids for this role. The acting is so stilted. It's painful to watch them try and over-exaggerate moments from the comics. Okay, they made him pathetic, but I still won't take the mean shit I said back because it's revealed that he is her neighbor and he clearly likes her and she has no interest in him. And he's giving me severe flashbacks because this conversation is just, listen, I have met guys like this in college. And all I can say, girl, is run. I hate that zoom in on his face. Holy fuck. Dude, stop. Wait, actually, hold on. This motherfucker looks like Nick Fuentes, doesn't he? So now it cuts immediately to the gym, and they're both there. And while Nick Fuentes is struggling with 10-pound bicep curls, Alex is in the background doing her warm-up of 40-pound lateral raises. No fucking way. This chick is roided up for sure. Now, from what it looks like, I'm pretty close to her stature and I've been going to the gym for years and I can only fully lateral raise 10 to 12 pound dumbbells and at most 5 reps of half laterals at 25 pounds, which will probably seriously fuck up my rotator cuff if I try to do a full lateral. 40 pounds, my ass. Anyways, she takes off her sweater and reveals her abs with all these graphics that are suspiciously AI. I swear, they're fucking gaslighting me. Anyways, she asks him to spot her and he is stressed because he is a fucking soy boy. Wait. Looks like those are red and yellow Rogue bumper plates. Reds are typically 55 pounds each and yellows are 25 pounds. Bar weighs 45 pounds, totaling 205 pound bench presses for 6 reps. That is unreal. There's no way, okay? As a gym goer, this feels pandering. I know they're trying to emulate a fictional comic of the characters being super strong, but I don't find this relatable in the slightest, okay? A real gym rat goes to fucking failure. They are covered in sweat and you gotta feel the shakes, like your muscles are going to rip apart. That is what it means to be a gym rat. But swole is not what I get from this. The term swole is derived from swollen, as in swollen muscles as lactic acid builds up in the muscle fibers and creates that pump. This show is a watered down Walmart pre-workout, in my opinion, and those prop weights ain't doing much to save this. I can't do this. There is a part where she offers him to press the weight she is hitting, and Nick Fuentes gets crushed and she says, I thought you were going to lift the bar. Take weight off if you can't handle it. And he said, verbatim, that's not my fault. You got it all slippery and sweaty, he said. I took pre-workout and it kind of hurt my tummy. I gotta go. Oh my god, I can't do this shit, man. Also, girl says she didn't sleep because she played 5 hours of video games, which we all know, gains aren't built in the gym. Rest and recovery from sleeping helps build and repair muscles. I call fucking BS. Also, why are there only 6 people in this lecture hall? Guess they didn't want to pay for extras for this shot. Anyways, her friend is jealous because Alex gets paired up with Nick Fuentes and her friend says that he is hot as shit. So they're allowed to say shit, but not fuck? Damn, okay, Webtoon. We're edgy, okay? Which I kind of believe that they had other people mark their series as being mature for having strong language. I don't know. Fuck you, Webtoon, okay? Fuck you with the big fucking F-bomb. Also, these game graphics are AI. I'm not going crazy. They have to be, okay? Look at that. That's AI, okay? No way they put him in an alpha male shirt. I'm thinking they actually purposely picked an actor that looked like Nick Fuentes. Also, this jackass recorded her in the gym and on live stream. I hate him, okay? I'm getting mad. I'm legitimately so mad watching this damn thing. And he says, why are you getting all the attention when I'm clearly mogging you? Bruh, this actually hurt. I took damage watching this shit. I'm just at a loss. I regret watching this so much. Also, is it possible for a man to mog a woman? There's a scene that is trying to be more serious where she insults him and he is actually hurt by it, but the dialogue is extremely stilted and it feels so lame. Then her sister arrives, and I know her sister is trying to be all evil, but her lines were like kind of funny. She says, "Oh, I see your living habits haven't changed much. You're still a little gamer troll, aren't you? Disgusting." Oh my god, girl, go off. But I hate it that she immediately was all jealous because she knows Nick Fuentes. And excuse me, but why was he arranging the fucking popcorn with tweezers? Well, I hope you wash those before you touch food with them. Okay, now that is AI. Oh my god, that is AI. They said they didn't use AI, but I'm starting to seriously fucking doubt that. Oh, so he's like trying to like tempt her with eating high caloric food, and popcorn isn't all that high in calories of all the snacks on the table. That's if it's not drenched in butter and caramel. But like, I don't know, treat yourself, right? A little bit of popcorn not gonna hurt, right? It's still in a calorie deficit. Anyways, he falls on her because this nut job got his hand stuck in a Pringles can, and then it ends there. On to the next one. I'll marry your brother. Now what in the fucking telemundo is this? Okay, this lady is in the rain, and I guess Vivian is her name, who is cast out of her wealthy life as an heir to $1 million company, but like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Like, her ex-lover has a new wife who is then like evilly stroking her belly because she's pregnant with his child, and now I feel like I'm being forced to watch an unscapable YouTube ad of those awful puzzle games. Anyways, this Vivian chick runs and trips, and this dude with the flattest line delivery I've ever seen catches her, and he apologizes for his evil brother. Bro, I screamed! Oh my god. She gets hit by a car, and that shit is so funny. I had to watch this 5 times. Webtoon, there's blood. Isn't that in your guidelines that violence is unacceptable? I think vehicular manslaughter kind of counts for violence, don't you think? Anyways, that shit is hilarious, and the fact it happens so soon after she said, "Not unless you have a time machine," and she gets hit by a car. That was so funny. So now she is transported to 5 years ago on her wedding day to this John Graves fella. So the dude who caught her in the rain is there at their wedding. His name is Patrick, I think. And then it zooms in onto her fiance's shirt collar, and it has like visible lipstick print that is way over the top. Oh my god. How did nobody else see that as he's like walking around their fucking wedding? She remembers her parents. She then had a flashback to them being murdered, so she runs away from her wedding, and then it does this slow zoom freeze frame with an After Effects lens flare effect as she's over her parents' bodies, and that shit is sending me, okay? She then asks if her dad is okay, and he has a fucking bullet hole in his forehead. Girl, what do you think? Okay, he's gonna wake back up? Her mother has enough strength to say red gloves before passing out, and I think because this is a drama and they're taking it so seriously is making it so fucking funny. If I had to recommend one, it would be this one because it is just hilarious. Her mother was brought to the hospital, but then Vivian swears she's gonna make John Graves pay for his crimes. And this actor for John is so stilted. He is completely phoning this shit in. I'm also extremely confused now. It's been like a mix of flashbacks and present day, then visions from her previous life, and I cannot tell what is even real anymore. And this Patrick guy, he's just there for looks, let's be honest. He's an attractive guy, but his acting is just really, really bad. She then offers this Patrick guy to marry her so they can both take down his brother, and then it ends there. Next is Dirty Deeds, which gives the mature rating warning when you go to watch it. And someone fixed this girl's busted ass mic. Holy shit, did she record this in a warehouse or what? Okay. You can hear her breathing into the mic. Please let me read you this first line. Sandalwood Springs. Rich people come here to get away, but I'm trapped. Grandma owns a resort, but she forces me to work. She doesn't care that my ankle never healed. When I tell you, I howled with laughter at this fucking line. She then limps. I guess this is not supposed to be funny, but I was dying watching this. We are 23 seconds in, and this looks like the beginning of a porno. Okay, some of the male guests are asking her to sit on their lap and give special favors. And then she leaves, and her grandma rubs Savannah's lipstick off because apparently they can't wear it. And she's also not allowed to interrupt her when she's talking with her client or whatever. And wait a fucking second. She's walking perfectly fine now. Like, no more limping. No, they started playing 50 Shades of Grey music. This dude walks in out of the shower wearing a towel and he drops it. She apologizes and he tells her to stay as he is standing behind her, fully nude. Girl, please get yourself some goddamn pepper spray or mace. Just use it on everyone here. He gets dressed, he leaves. Then he is being scolded by his mother for him to find a wife. And Savannah goes into his room again for house cleaning and she finds a wooden case and a strip of condoms. And he said it was a gift from his mother. Then he grabs her hand when she tried to leave the room. Pepper spray him. Okay, bring out the pepper spray, girl. Save yourself. The scary dude found her room blocking the entrance and then he asked her to sew because his buttons fell off, and she fixes his shirt and then he leaves, and then her evil sister has arrived. Then some random dude tried to give her flowers so she can clean his room first, and she said that she couldn't, so he grabs her wrist, and a scary male lead dude comes in and stops him by shoving him to the ground and throwing money at him, and she thanks him for helping her, and this fucking jackass says, "You sure do keep a lot of men around. 2 guys in so many days?" Girl, please listen. Get yourself a gun. Arm yourself from these demons, okay? Run away with that gimpy ankle that never healed. Get the fuck out of here. He hides her from her aunt and then he pins her against the wall and he kisses her, and I support smut, okay? But I clutch my pearls seeing live action actors nearly dry humping up on each other. What site am I on? A 13+ webcomic app or fucking Pornhub? The guy from earlier found her apartment with the full intent to rape her, and then she claims that Trevor Morris dude was her boyfriend, which scared him off. And this Trevor guy acts like he's all chivalrous, but he throws his power around, knowing that she's at a disadvantage. She also got a phone call, and he took her phone, ended the call because it was another man. And then he asked her to stay with him in his room, and she declines, which finally she grew a spine. Then she was called to spend dinner with him and wear a dress he bought her. And she actually went, but she put up her boundaries. Then he gave her a necklace. As he put it on, he touched her shoulders all sexily. And then she said, "You aren't listening to me." And he said, "I know you don't want to be a fling." And then he takes her hands and puts them up on the bedpost after she told him she was clear about her boundaries.
Oh, I'm just leaving. I'm right!
I'm sick. This shit is awful. That was 100 DD mega doo-doos out of 10. Slop. Love Bites is next on the chopping block, and this one is a BL, which props them for doing at least one LGBTQ story. But the quality isn't much better than the rest, I'm afraid, but I'll try to be as fair as I can. This Mason character is like a transfer student, and then he just walks up to the main character, Kieran, and sits beside him in class. And his friend is like, "Stop being a reclusive antisocial artist and say hi, Kieran." And then he reluctantly says hi. Then Mason compliments his art. And then Kieran snaps, saying that he should focus on his own future, like taking orders at Quick Burger, which was kind of uncalled for. That was kind of mean. Then they both stand up as if they will fight. Then Mason says, "Bite me," and Bro says, "Maybe I will," with the red vampire eye effects. It was then that the pattern recognition kind of kicked in, because with that black trench coat, he kind of looks like...
You look like you're about to tell your friend not to come to school tomorrow, man.
They ended up all in the same class together, and their rivalry continues. Then Kieran and his friend Sela are in the theater, and he's like, "No way that meathead is in theater." And then he shows up. Of course they're theater kids. Holy crap. So he joins their group as expected, and at his friend Sella's house, Mason and Kieran get into another beef again. Then there is this painful scene where Kieran is about to bite Mason's neck, but dude doesn't have any vampire fangs, so he looks like a rogue, tweaking New Yorker about to bite a random pedestrian on the street. Mason then runs outside and said, "I've completely lost control," then replay the exact same scene that played 3 seconds ago, as if we didn't just see that 3 seconds ago. And then this Cedric guy shows up, and he's looking a little Michael Jackson. He's looking a little hee. Anyways, they're upset a werewolf family moved into town, which is kind of racist. And Kieran appears and says a wolf is in the woods, and Michael Jackson wants to go kill the wolves. Kieran drinks some fruit punch flavored Four Loko and then cuts to the next day. And his friend Sella and him are in the car, and she asks him if he's gay because Mason was wanting to know. And he said that he wasn't gay, and if he was, it was none of Mason's business. And his friend looks like she's about to burst out laughing. Like, she's way too cheery in all of her scenes, like she's just smiling, like it's really funny. They all sit together for lunch, and Kieran asks Mason why he's so obsessed with him, and Mason denies it. Then Kieran lifts up Mason's chin and said, "You're so cute when you're nervous," and that makes Mason really mad. And I hope in the comic that Kieran isn't this erratic. Like, the way he flips his personality so quick in these shorts is giving me the creeps. Because then Mason asks Sella what kind of guy she likes. And then Kieran gets super mad. Then he squeezes his juice box. And then they all get scared and ask, "Is that blood?" But Kieran looks at his hand and says, "It's just tomato juice." It's just so painful. Mason goes to football practice, and Kieran is just scowling at him the whole time, and it's just so unhinged. Mason, get out of there. Save yourself. This dude is unstable for you, okay? Mason then asks Sella out on a date, and Kieran gets mad, and he goes to the men's locker room where Mason is shirtless. I don't know what the media has done to my brain, but the scene of Kieran standing there with his long black trench coat, I thought something awful was about to unfold next. Anyways, Kieran was admiring Mason's abs, and then he threatened Mason to stay away from Sella. Then Mason is like, "You like watching me, don't you?" and touches his lips. But Kieran is still looking very unhinged here. And then Kieran pushes Mason, and then he pushes him against the locker, and there's a moment of gay panic before Mason kisses him, and then it ends there. The last one is rules for dating trash. And I know I'm already gonna hate this one because I didn't like the comic from what I remember, but I will try to be fair. However, this one is looking hella stinky. This girl in a purple hoodie is like getting bullied on her campus. Then this couple making out steps back, bumping into her, and then he does a full 180-degree turn to hold her. It's just stinky. And then the chick that he was kissing recognizes Anna as stalking this other dude the previous year, and it's a flashback scene, and she has her mascara running, and she's crying, and everyone's like whispering and laughing at her. And you know what? I remember when I was in college, and you would see other students crying on campus all the time, and no one really paid any mind, like they do in this show. Like, everyone is up in each other's business in this show. It's so unrealistic. It's college, not high school. I remember publicly crying on campus one time, and people were like minding their own business. Okay, no one cared. And it's funny, sometimes you would see they would take like high schoolers on a tour of the campus, and they would bring them past some like poor crying girl in this stairwell. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Anyways, back to this garbage short. But yeah, the love interest guy says that she was cute, but his friends were still talking shit about her, about being a psycho, and him and his friends make a bet for $500 that he couldn't date her. And he says he never met a girl that didn't want to date him. Ew, 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 ew. I hate this. Then he's in Anna's class, and he goes up to her desk, and she asks him what he's doing there, and he's trying to be all quirky, and he puts on her hat, and he says, "I don't know what I want to do with my life." Ew. Then in comes the guy she was rumored to have been stalking the year before, and he is the new teacher assistant. Gasp. And if this is the first day, it's not too late to switch classes, which would have been my move, okay, if I was in her shoes. Her ex, the TA, wants to talk. So she panics and she grabs the dude, and then they were pretending to be together. And then after the TA leaves, she then tells him to stay away from her. Then she moves into her apartment and she meets her friend from the year before and finds out the Lucas guy is living 3 doors down. So obviously he comes in just wearing a towel, which is the 4th time this trope was used in these stupid fucking shorts. So her friend, who knows about what happened the year before, tries to set her up to tutor Lucas, which if she really was her friend, she wouldn't have put Anna on the spot like that. That was cruel, okay? Fuck her. She's not a friend. So Anna was then pressured to tutor him and she folds. Then they're like outside getting groceries or something and her ex shows up again and calls her over, and then she starts walking to him in slow motion, and it's revealed that her ex cheated on her and he didn't care about that. And the most insufferable thing happens. And this made me legitimately mad. I know I'm watching some slop show and I'm not trying to blame her as a victim of emotional abuse, but I can't help but be disgusted by this. The ex tells her, "Come on, get in, I will drive you home." And after all this buildup of her creating rules for herself to try to stay safe and avoid drama and bad men, to this moment where she says, "You can build new rules for yourself, new armor, but the body remembers who trained it." And she goes to get in the car. And I cannot stand this. What a load of shit. The body remembers who trained it, kills all trust that she could save herself, and has to wait for this Lucas jackass to hop in to save her. I'm so tired. I hate this so much. And then Lucas saves her and he says he's walking her home. Then Anna lies saying that he is her boyfriend. And then her ex is all smug as he leaves. Then Lucas says, "Don't be with someone you can't say no to," as if he's not trying to use her to win his $500 bet. But then she thinks, he's right. What if I make the rules this time? As if you weren't already making those rules for yourself before. Anna told him that she needs him to pretend to be her boyfriend long enough for people to stop thinking they have access to her, which is crazy because you can do that on your own by telling people to fuck off. Or get the police involved. Like, what is this teaching young girls? I opened up the comments and there are people who are loving this, but I hate the fake dating, contract dating trope with a burning passion. Nothing screams power imbalance and controlling abusive behavior more than this brain dead trope. There, I said it. I get it that it's fantasy, but I cannot imagine a more miserable start to a relationship than being in a transactional contract. It's not romantic. It's just blatantly showing that their worth is tied to how useful they can be. Regardless if it's mutual, it's a horrible thing to be used or knowing that you're allowing yourself to get used. Anyways, they appear on campus together, that they're dating, and then he tells her, "You can't wear that zip-up hoodie." At that point, I'd be like, fuck that. Don't tell me what I can and can't wear. He then says she has to dress like someone he wants to date. Fuck you and your fucking bitch ass little face, okay? This shit is horrible. Anyways, the episode ends with her about to take off her hoodie before pushing you to buy coins to see what she looks like in her bandeau crop top. And you couldn't stoop lower than that. Webtoon is a vile slop house with no morals. Nothing will save this platform in my eyes. I have wasted so much of my precious life watching these horrid shorts, and I regret every moment of my brain cells actively dying off watching this utter trash. I take back every nice thing I have said about these. This is not art. This is not good, and I'm not joking. Do not support this crap. Now you may be thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Who would even want this? And why?
Why? Why?
To be completely frank, yes, it is a smart business move. Actually, they're really late to the game, in my opinion. But it makes perfect sense that this would be the next thing Webtoon would introduce. They don't care about alienating their core audience like you and me, who find this tone deaf after everything the community has been begging them to fix on their platform to better support independent creators posting to Webtoon Canvas. They have no reason to listen when there are people who will watch this, who do like this crap, who will support it. And that's just the truth. I can criticize it all I want, but it won't change that this is the calculated business move intended to reach another audience that is no doubt fair and actively watching this type of mindless content, regardless of quality, but it's content nonetheless, and content made for content's sake. It's there because it's yet another way for them to draw people into their app. I can't imagine that this live action adaptation production cost them all that much money to make, and whether they make their money back on it, probably. Looks like some people are enjoying this shit. And you know, it's not a crime to make Tubi slop. People gotta eat, and I'm all for jobs for actors and amateur filmmakers and producers, etc., probably looking for a job straight out of college. And for a company as stingy as Webtoon, it makes sense instead of investing into a studio to create a 6-whole animated series, this was probably a bigger bang for their buck. I'm trying to be fair. I don't want to be an ass, but this is bona fide barnyard slop. But Webtoon doesn't care about artistry. They don't care about story. They care about selling products and making money. Imagine wanting so badly to get noticed by Webtoon for them to do this to your baby. Is this what it means to make it in the webcomic industry? For your art to be bastardized into a low-quality, attention-maxing iPad cave fodder that looks like it belongs on Tubi? To slopify and strip every personal charm and artistic flair you had worked so diligently to incorporate into every intricate detail of every panel? The pacing, the timing, the aura, lost in a poorly lit set in LA with stilted acting and cheap-ass costumes. This is what it means to be a Webtoon original. They can milk your baby dry of everything it could possibly give, squeezing every last dollar out of it, because this is the future of comics on Webtoon. Honestly, I have not been keeping up with much of Webtoon's spin-off content. I didn't watch the True Beauty K-drama, other than scream laughing at the scene of Suo getting hit by a car in slow motion. This scene goes on for like 3 minutes, no joke, it's the funniest shit ever. I remember watching the anime trailer for True Beauty and being baffled by the overly high-pitched voice for Youngyeon, and I decided then and there I would not watch the anime. Despite having read almost the entire series, I could not listen to that for more than 2 minutes. I know the other Webtoon original Let's Play anime is on Crunchyroll, but I never read the comic, so I had no interest in checking it out. I actually read a decent amount into the Webtoon Float before I got irked by the characters' decisions and lack of communication, so I never finished it. But I remember when I saw the poster for the Netflix adaptation for Float being promoted on Webtoon out of nowhere, and I was so confused. But it reeked of that Netflix live-action curse that emanates from every attempt to mask their low-quality production and how little they care about actually making an enjoyable, watchable film. Yeah, I didn't watch it either, and I have yet to meet anyone who actually did watch it. That movie was made to be put on a small TV in a dentist's office waiting room. I'm not being a snob just because this is Webtoon. I have seen many live-action adaptations that I actually enjoyed. Gundam Beauty, based off the webtoon My ID is Gundam Beauty, which came out in 2018. Wait, what the fuck? I thought it was like 2016 or something. I didn't realize it was that recent. Wait, no shit. That was still 8 years ago. Anyways, it's been a while since I saw this K-drama. By the time I found out it was based off a webtoon, I read the first few chapters before Webtoon put it behind the Daily Pass or some shit, and I didn't have time for the crap. Neither do I have time to go through and watch and read everything, so bear with me as I go straight off the dome here. However, My ID is Gundam Beauty was pretty decent. I actually love this one, my first watch in 2018, I guess. But in more recent viewing, I thought it was just okay. But it had a lot of things similar to the webtoon original True Beauty. But in the adaptation for My ID is Gundam Beauty, I feel like they didn't strip out those elements, even the controversial ones of lookism, bullying, and EDs. However, the webtoon had more bite to it. I vaguely remember there were more intense scenes of these elements, at least in the first chapters that I read. Having only seen the drama first, I was shocked to read the comic and see how much more cruel life was for the protagonist. All this to say, adaptations can be successful and bring audiences to read the original source material. Many times when I would watch a drama or movie or anime and stopped off at a point where I needed to know more of the story, I would pick up the source material right where the show left off. Like for the original Fruits Basket anime. Back in the day, I remember watching the whole show and then taking my bike to the library, checking out the maximum amount of manga books I could get at one time, read them all over the weekend. Then I rode my bike back to the library to drop off the books and check out the next big batch of manga. I tore through that series. Dohorohedoro and Kowloon Generic Romance are also manga series I binged, but I thank the anime adaptation for introducing me to the source material, and I love the source material of the manga more than the anime, but I also find both mediums appealing in their own ways. I have watched a fair amount of K-dramas. I think there was a goofiness that was charming to me in my teenage years. A lot of them have been adapted from webtoons and have done a decent job at retaining the essence of the source material, but I have to confess a deep dark secret that I realized only recently, and please don't flame me for it, but I don't care much for K-dramas as an adult. Now hold on to your pitchforks, I don't hate them all. I have many favorites I hold close to my heart, and some amazing movies have come out of the Korean film industry that are really memorable and impressive. So I just thought I was watching bad ones, but trying to scroll through Viki, nothing was hitting like they used to. I know many are intended to be campy or rom-coms with goofy moments, but there's only so much I can take until it was grating on my nerves. And the amount of product placement too, it always took me out of the immersion with the amount of time coffee candies or electrolyte drinks were forcefully taking screen time and cheapened the viewing experience. Like an intellectual, I prefer my Code Geass Anime Pizza Hut product placement. Thank you very much. I thought perhaps I'm just getting older and my tastes are changing. What I used to go crazy for as a teenage girl no longer appealed to me in my 20s. Anyways, I had a friend that was very into K-dramas, and trying to be a good friend, I struggled to watch through multiple full series that she had recommended to me, even though she would never watch the ones I recommended to her. However, I watched them so that we can talk about them together. But honestly, I couldn't take watching these series. I hit my breaking point trying to force myself to watch the entire series of Crash Landing on You. Why does it have to take place in North Korea? I never told her I didn't enjoy watching them, but I fessed up after attempting to watch Nevertheless. I don't care for Nevertheless. And I think that was actually trying to target a young adult audience, but I couldn't stand it. In fact, I hate that show. I hate it deeper than the pits of fucking hell. Anyways, I thought that the K-drama While You Were Sleeping, and despite the dumb title, was a great series, and I kind of want to rewatch it. But yeah, I think these 6 drama shorts are for teenage girls, and they were very painful to watch. And I cannot give campiness an excuse on the quality, because it was just really bad. I understand it's difficult to bridge the gap between such drastically different mediums. Film and comics have many different techniques that can be difficult to adapt one for one. And in this case, it feels like the uber short condensed versions hurt the story more than it helps it. And as I said before, it condenses the plot to a point where the context that could add more depth to the characters and story is removed, and it feels incredibly shallow. And it's funny because I'm not trying to come in on the perspective that these could change my life, but you can actually do a lot in 2 minutes. I have cried during random reels that I've come across on Instagram reels that are funny skits, but ended up with a very emotional story that actually genuinely made me cry, of feeling moved. And that's what I mean. I gave these a chance because it is possible to make powerful content in under 2 minutes that can actually move someone. I'm not being a jackass because I just don't like it. I just know that it could always be better. I know I've dissed the anime trailers and episodes before, but at least those employed animators, as well as use the original art that the creators had in their chapters. It was not the best, but it was better than this, because this is not where it's at. Yet I doubt Webtoon will be willing to pay a whole team of animators because animation is expensive and too much of a risk. And risk is a big no-no for Naver. But getting college kids to produce a sloppy 2B vertical reel is cheaper. They stripped away all of the original charm of the webcomics and art styles and boiled it down to shocking drama tropes rather than telling the story with the intended leading, pacing, and emotion that was introduced in the comic. What actually made the chapters enticing to read. I am no marketing guru, nor will I pretend that these charts make any sense to me, but from a simple web search, NVIDIA, yes NVIDIA, the big mega corpo making AI chips, essentially gave $1 billion to South Korean internet conglomerate Naver. Yes, the corporation behind Webtoon and Wattpad, taking roughly a 4.5% stake. In this article, they reported that NVIDIA's investment helped send Naver shares up more than 10%, when the deal was announced. Over the last several years, Naver has spent roughly 1 trillion won on AI. Naver intends to make AI part of the infrastructure for advertising and commerce, but that requires GPUs, data centers, and electricity. And who sells AI infrastructure? NVIDIA. Naver's problem is figuring out how to turn that infrastructure into money. If investors discover that AI isn't producing enough economic value, that's no bueno for Naver, because they are both a buyer of infrastructure and trying to monetize it. Naver already operates an AI-specialized infrastructure, NeuroCloud, which integrates GPU clusters with fucking hybrid cloud hardware for some hyperclova-X. What the fuck does that mean? Anyways, AI is getting more expensive. Thus, investors are becoming more skeptical about how quickly Naver can turn that spending into profit. I am donning my tinfoil hat again. And this is just my speculation, but perhaps this is the effects of pressure from the top to force Webtoon into offering more than just comics, because those aren't enough. They don't earn enough money to pay the increasingly expensive bills for their mega AI data center. They're looking for a hub of content that will keep people on the platform longer than the 5 minutes it takes a reader to zip through a new webcomic update, then leave. They want attention to remain longer, to spend more on the app with their time and obviously money. They are creating a content house that will keep as many users on their app as they possibly can. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a stupid artist. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching. Bye!